Have you ever watched Naruto?
Naruto.
Yeah, Naruto the anime. When the demon powers come off, they're spreading from his belly. That's how I feel like when my purpose is coming, like that. Yeah. The very act of being vulnerable is the most courageous thing, because only when we're truly vulnerable, the real human bond can emerge. Good morning to a very important day. It's time for reflection. I'm meeting a friend to do a purpose exercise. While we're going to study, I'm going to ask you guys questions. So come study with us the idea of purpose. We are in Beijing. We are about to end the year, but not before. We'll eat something. And yes, I am sick like crazy, or basically recovering from sickness and hangover. But isn't this the beauty of self-reflection under your worst? You actually look very well. Give me a hug. My study partner. You have the Wi-Fi? Coffee! Oh, wow. I love this. Give me some more insights about what we're going to watch today. Hi everyone. Mila, can you tell us what we're going to watch and what's the purpose of this exercise?
Okay, this is completely unrehearsed.
Yeah, of course.
Unscripted. So a friend of mine has been working for this company. They're an UK-based leadership executive coaching company. They do mostly executive coaching to develop leadership abilities and their teams. So we're gonna watch an event with two of their coaches, and they're gonna give some exercises to follow along, and then a post-event reflection survey.
How long is this? 1 hour and a half? So for an hour and 15 minutes, we're going to watch this. We're going to take some breaks to think about important moments. After that, we can share our takeaways and how we are going to implement this in our lives.
Show our coffee bean rings.
Yay! I just learned something in Vietnam. It says, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's go.
It's incredible. Thank you so much.
So we've been given one reflective inquiry as an exercise, and it's about understanding your values and your descriptors, starting from how others spread. It's a circle, and then in the middle it's your descriptors and values. And this exercise starts by asking yourself, if the people who have known you for the entire life would describe you, what are the 3 features that they would highlight? It's placed under the umbrella of the concept of Ubuntu, which means I am because we are, and which links back with something that they talked about, the fact that purpose is achieved through relationships we have. And part of the exercise is to think about who and what, but this time from the point of view of all the communities influencing you indirectly beyond your work. It can be communities where you live and all the other communities you're part of that are shaping in a way or another who you are and the constraints of who you are. Now, moving on to the second reflective inquiry is to understand our feelings are an embodiment when they are related to our purpose. And the question to reflect on is, how do you feel when you're really connected with something beyond yourself, when you are in a flow state? So we're going to take a moment and reflect on that, and we're going to be back. So, how do you feel when you are really connected with something beyond yourself, a flow state? In my case, I usually feel grounded in the sense that it's a really peaceful moment when there seems to be no hurry to do anything else in that flow state. It's not that I'm flowing in the past or in the future, it's really, I'm just in that moment, so aware of everything that's happening. Number 2, I'm aligned, which I describe as there is no conflict between what I'm doing and who I am. There's just a continuous connection between what I'm doing and the value that I put out there in the world. And number 3 is I'm excited, as in I feel like all my cells have higher vibration. I almost feel physically connected with the person who I know exists in one of the potential futures. I know that what I'm doing now puts me in the future cone that gets me where I want to be.
So I said, I feel a pure sense of joy when I'm feeling like I'm in a flow state or doing something that I truly love. Also, I feel like I'm losing myself in that moment. Like, I just look at the person, notice what's happening, whatever's happening around me, and then I don't even feel my body. I don't think about my facial expression. Are they awkward or not? I don't think about my word choice, which I'm usually worried about on a pretty regular basis. So I disregard any anxiety triggering matters, which happens a lot. I'm quite an anxious person, I'd say. But whenever I'm in a flow state or I'm connecting with something beyond myself, I just feel, nothing really matters anymore.
It's so beautiful.
I just dissolve into a pool of water. And
Those are our questions. Let us know your answer in the comments box. The second question is, where do you feel it in your body? Do you feel it in your head? Do you feel it in your belly? Do you feel it in your chest? For me, it's pretty easy to answer this on spot. What about? Where do you feel it? I'm curious. Where do you feel it?
I feel like it's almost like a whole body orgasm.
Okay, that's something that can end up in my video. Okay.
It's mostly at the top, around my brain, my head.
Interesting.
Just feeling like I would widen my eyes, my pupils will dilate, and I just kind of see fireworks. I feel even my sculpt is expanding.
For me, it's more like here, and it's a vortex, and it's a whirlpool like this. The moment I realize it's here, and it's very warm, and it's a whirlpool, but it's peaceful. It's just, I know what's happening, I know I'm aligned, but then I want this energy to come out, and everyone to feel it, and it spreads throughout the body. Almost like have you ever watched Naruto? Yeah. Naruto, Naruto the anime, and Naruto has a 9-tailed demon in it. So the demon is sealed here, and then when the demon powers come off, they're spreading from his belly. That's how I feel like when my purpose is coming, like that. Yeah, it's interesting because you said it's a here type of experience, and you also mentioned that it's about anxiety calming and not picking your words. So it's a real rational thing to experience.
It's pretty brainy for me.
Okay. The final question is, how does it manifest in the world around yourself when you're connected to something beyond you and with your purpose? And I'm just gonna go directly to the more metaphysical thing that happened to me once I realized my purpose and once I went on the path of content creation. Before I was doing this, I never once in my life met a content creator or a YouTuber or people who were in the creative industry and successfully doing this. But then the moment I told myself this is what I want to do to expand this part of my identity, I somehow just started to stumble upon people in very random places. I met the first successful YouTube creator, then other content creators. It just started to roll like that. The moment I aligned with a higher purpose, it almost felt like those people and those opportunities found their way into my life.
It's like a lot of serendipities happening.
What about you?
So for me, when I'm in a flow state, when I feel so connected to myself and my true essence, I almost feel the same in others. I elicit such pure joy and cooperation or reciprocation from others, especially when I'm trying to pitch something that I truly believe in. I also see them being so moved and touched, and it's just that infectious energy coming from me being reciprocated by them. They would be like, oh, it sounds like a good thing. We'll sign up. We'll follow whatever you're telling us.
So we got to the reflected inquiry number 3, which is a synthesis putting in connection the first question about who you are and number 2 about the feelings. We are given this phrase of I exist to ... and 2 questions to reflect about. What are you trying to transform and what are you trying to change? In my case, I exist to help people connect and create communities. That's my purpose that I've identified. By helping them to understand themselves, become more courageous, and embrace the full human experience. And how I do this is by showing how I did it, being vulnerably human and driven by love. Like these people said, I also believe that our purpose is only fully achieved in communities. Many of the collective sources of sadness and lack of fulfillment that we have in this era are because of how fragmented our societies are and how little safe spaces to connect. So I just want to contribute towards improving the way in which we connect with one another, being more courageous so we understand each other and we have more love in the world.
I wrote something really similar to what you just said. So I wrote, I exist to inspire self-knowledge, courage, and spiritual transformation in others. I was so touched to hear that you are saying that we live in such a fragmented society and a lot of the collective trauma or collective sadness is kind of a burden placed into individuals. We expect people themselves to deal with whatever they're going through, and they feel so lonely trying to go through the therapy sessions and trying to like journal on their own, and which is like all great, but then like where do they have an outlet to talk this out? They could find their friends and so on, but then they also lack this kind of a larger circle of supporters of.
And also just the idea that we are selling in our society, saying that the problem is you and the problem is in you. If you think about it, even sadness and everything we feel individually are in their nature. We share our sadness, we share the burdens, and I think it would be great if we could connect more on those aspects too, not just on our achievements and fulfillments and everything.
So I've been reading a lot about psychedelics, and in the indigenous communities, they would perform these psychedelic ceremonies in groups. It's a whole community event. Like the whole community will gather in, attend throughout the night. Whenever there's a community member who's feeling sick or is going through losing a partner or children, the spiritual leader would call the whole group of people to sit there just for that person. Similarly, in the religious communities, they gather like every Sunday to the Sunday services, and we're really losing that. Like,
I don't think we have it. It's not even losing it. Guys, you say it when you're losing someone, when you're going through a breakup. If you don't have your friends or your family, nobody's there for you. There is even shame associated with suffering. Even if you're surrounded by your friends or by your family, you might actually just not go out there, or they're not reaching out to you out of fear of embarrassment or shame, because it's almost like you are imperfect if you're going through sadness or a really traumatic experience. And I think people just want to go through these things on their own, and I don't think we're meant to do that. That's it. So the next thing is I exist too, we've done that, and then it's like in a way that, and it actually brings back a conversation I had with my therapist, because we're going through some of my fears about doing social media, where sometimes you need to pick between what you want to share and going with the trends and being someone, a reflection of what the market wants you to do. And I said that I don't want to do that. I know it sounds a bit entitled. I don't even have the luxury yet, but I want to pursue my purpose while keeping true to who I am. So the question is, what do you want to keep in your heart while you bring about your purpose, the change? I said my vulnerability. Even when I'm afraid, I want to remember why I'm doing this, and that's the very act of being vulnerable is the most courageous thing I can do, because only when we're truly vulnerable, the real human bond can emerge. So why I might be hurt when someone will make a mean comment or question what I'm doing, I need to remind myself I'm doing this because I want to be courageous in the very act of doing it. For me, being courageous is not being strong or looking resilient, all of that. It's also, you are just keep on doing it, but it's actually just keeping my vulnerability and who I am as a human, because I truly know that this is who everyone is underneath all protective layers that we're all putting, the shields and the armor. So what do you want to keep?
So I said in a way that is patient, composed, and respecting of myself and others. Because I feel like sometimes when I'm trying to change someone or trying to inspire something in others, I would think of, they should reach a certain level that I'm maybe expecting of myself to reach, or just being like, that's a good thing, that's a great thing, you should get there, we should both get there. But actually every person has their own journeys to go on, and I shouldn't be completely imposing what I've read, what I've been thinking about to others, but I try to respect their own boundaries, trying to respect their own levels of actualization.
I like this, but for me it sounds more like a rule of respect. What about your true feelings in this process? What are the feelings that you want to have while doing all of this?
I think more at peace. Just not be constantly worrying about, am I preaching the right thing, or can they get to where they should be, but like completely
letting go?
Yeah.
Not control.
And losing the self. Yeah.
Thank you. So, final part of this exercise, of this reflective inquiry, is I exist too in a way that, what's your so that?
It's not fully formed yet. But I said, so that more people can embark on the journey of self-transformation, lots of big words, with more courage, reassurance, and peace.
That's
Less
beautiful.
fear, less anxiety.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yours?
Mine is just, it starts with a selfish reason. It's just so that I connect with people who are well connected with themselves and who are able to connect with others. So we're all part of a community. And what is this community based on? It's courage and love. That's very similar to what you're saying. When I was a student, we had a class in purpose, but because I was in denial about the intention of companies to actually have a real purpose, I was the annoying student who always tried to roast the professor because I really didn't believe that you can bring purpose in the companies and that it's all bullshit. So if you're in that stage of your life, I'm not going to take this personal. I totally understand that the understanding of what purpose is a process. Now, listening to this training and just maturing, I realize that it, at least the intention, even if it exists there, it's a guiding light that can help, at least in some moments, to make the right decision.
So I feel like the session at first felt like they were being too corporate, a lot of corporate lingo thrown out there. I was kind of vigilant about it, but I think the real value is really in the exercises that in the time that we took to pause and reflect on our own purposes, because at the end of the day, the real journey is just in what we make of it, how we take it from here on. Maybe I just found like one sentence in there in the session to be helpful. The idea that was really helpful was kind of focusing my purpose on how do I want to change the world? How do I want to place my purpose on something outside of myself? By thinking of what are the other things or the other people that I can influence, that I can change. So that's something that I took away.
They say that there are 7 foundations of inner strength: emotional regulation, positive mindset, proactivity and acceptance, social resources, learning, and physical resilience. And then they put purpose as the 7th. But actually, purpose and meaning, I think, should be above them all. Because during your hard moments in life, during the process of learning, during the process of emotional regulation, the fact that you have a higher purpose can keep you going. So the purpose and meaning is not at the same level with the learning and physical resilience. It's the fact that you have a purpose that enables you to work out every day and learn every day. That's how I see it.
How do you define purpose?
You go through a courageous exercise of getting to know yourself, then accepting that you need to do what you are and who you are. You need to perform your purpose. Your purpose is kind of here as a guiding light. So then, in the process, sometimes you might have obstacles and sometimes it might be very hard. So then, the fact that you have the purpose over here and not over here helps you kind of take a step backward from your learning process, social resources, and think, actually, life has purpose. Life has meaning. Here's my purpose. And then you keep on going.
I was actually going to challenge you on that and propose a different idea opposite to what you just said. I feel like the other way also works. By learning about whatever that's maybe just forced to you, right? That you're just asked to do, that you're just required to do. Or by interacting with other people, maybe you see other people adopting different, all kinds of purposes themselves. And maybe the person or I myself didn't have a purpose then, but by seeing that, oh, these people are all like, they're really clear on what they want. Maybe there's something lacking in me, so that would almost motivate myself to find out what my own of that is. So maybe we could also place this as in parallel to the other elements, and it's just, other elements can also feed into finding my own purpose.
We could look at it as a tree. It's a tree that's higher, but has roots in all of these other 6 dimensions, basically, and takes energy from this thing, and it grows.
Yeah, I think that's getting at too.
Oh, and then I loved one key takeaway is this Viktor Frankl, Men's Search for Meaning. I really am going to look into this reading because I also believe that purpose indeed comes out in interactions. And I want to go back to one fundamental reading. It's another bestseller now kind of looked down as a self-help book, but it's actually so revolutionizing the courage to be disliked, where they also believe that one of your reason of existence is to be accomplished in social interaction. And one of the main sources of happiness and fulfillment that we have in life is feeling that we contribute to others' lives.
I read both books in Search for Meaning like 5 years ago when I just heard that my application failed. I was reading that one from cover to cover, really trying to cheer myself up. And I kind of started to draw my purpose tree. That's like the purpose tree exercise is also from another Angela Duckworth, that's American psychologist, book called Grit, where she recommended from like bottom to top, we can work out our daily activities to what they actually feed into.
Another key takeaway from this workshop is that we are part doing and part being. How they describe it is like after doing some things, you activate being, and being means understanding and reflection. But the reflection part shouldn't be too much, shouldn't go into undecisiveness when you have too much information and you don't know what to do with it. And I think this is a good way to conclude with the other view, the other side, who's saying you don't need a purpose, you don't need that, it's not that serious. There are people who think there is too much obsession these days with purpose, passion. And I agree. I really agree that life happens with or without the purpose. I just know for sure that it's easier when you have a purpose to guide you, to help you stay aligned with your values, to help you get as close as possible to happiness, to enjoyment of life, being at peace with the entirety of the emotional human spectrum. What's your perspective about this? There are people who really say, shut up, it's too much intellectualization. Is purpose a privilege? Is purpose luxury?
It is a luxury. It is a privilege, I think, because it is great privilege of us to have this entire afternoon sitting in this nice coffee shop and just talk to each other, and that we have this kind of friend network. And yeah, just really thinking deep into it compared to maybe some like guys who, you know, in order to survive.
I don't think that.
Okay, yeah, why?
It's because I feel like the people with the most clear and defined sense of life purpose, although they don't call it like that, and they don't talk about it in the same intellectual terms and readings and latest modern books on psychology. But the people I met with the highest sense of purpose are people from the countryside or very low income people. Maybe they're older, right? So they have the life wisdom. But I think the only thing you need to clarify your purpose is just some moments of recollection and the courage to trust yourself and to start living according to those principles that you've discovered. You don't need to be in a coffee place, or you don't need to go to expensive workshops. The methods are all there, and even wise people around you can just guide you to find some sort of personal meaning in the world. Maybe it's a mistake that we are commoditizing the idea of purpose. At least my purpose is to make it as obvious as possible that this is a conversation for everyone to have.
No, I think I was almost playing that, putting on that corporate hat, being like, this can only happen in a nice setting with some good resources.
You need time. That's the thing. You need time to reflect. So that's a luxury, basically. Time is a luxury.
But I wonder if we can even, a clear sense of purpose can emerge even out of some, like a few seconds. If we just pause and observe whatever is happening in your head, that's mini silent retreat.
So let's say you have 10 minutes of driving that you could use to reflect about your life. You can reflect about in a negative mindset or change that and think about what works and what doesn't, and what are some ideas that could change your life if you want it differently. And I think what people actually lack is just methods. And because they're out of reach from these methods, they think it's not something that I can do.
I guess one question from me to you is, why are you making this episode? Why are you making this session that we had this afternoon into a YouTube episode?
It's because of exactly what I said. It's because I have the privilege to take the time to reflect on this, and also the honor of having such friends to support each other on understanding each other, and that I want others to benefit of this session and maybe have a little spark of life meaning when they're watching us thinking about this. And just understand it's actually very simple. There were 3 questions, 3 exercises that you can do that can inform some life choices. And I know that it sounds like, oh, it's so radical and it can't be that life-changing, but that's the entire idea behind therapy that I've experienced for the past years. It's exactly this sort of conversations that are not planned and not scripted, that stay with you somehow on your mind. You carry them with you as you go through your daily life, and all of a sudden something clicks, and then you will never be the same person ever again.
This session has also been, on a mini level, transforming to me. I just feel really lucky to be sharing self-exploration with another person, which already felt so expensive.
Yeah.
You are a community. We both make a community.
We're done! Study session on a Sunday on purpose. It's done. Thank you so much, Mila. This has been super useful, and I'm hoping people will be very appreciative of this. Don't forget to subscribe and to ask your questions and to write your feedback or mean comments. We're waiting for them. Thank you so much for sticking with us, and see you guys next time. I feel like my ADHD is coming to surface, right? It's very funny because we're sitting at the back of the restaurant, like I've always sat in my classrooms, always at the back, where I would be the annoying student in the first row asking questions.
I think in the Chinese education system, the students who sit at the back at the very last rows are usually the ones who don't care.
Well, no, I was just at the back of the classroom in my high school and always raising my hand and then giving the answer before being chosen because I didn't have enough patience.
Self-contained.
No, I didn't have enough patience. I was very annoying, and I was always being threatened by the professor that they're going to use tape on my mouth, which is very Eastern European threatening.
They really do?
I don't know if they did it. I don't remember. Not on me, for sure. But they always had tape that they were threatening me. Yeah.